What if I told you I could provide you with a simple yet incredibly powerful tool to add character and soul to your productions in an instant? A tool used by some of the biggest names in the music industry. And that with this tool, you could plunge your listeners into a world of your own creation. A solitary cabin in the woods. A space station swimming through the cosmos. A bubble bath, if that's what your heart desires. Let me show you.
Adding natural effects, like the sounds of a rainforest or the ambience of a big city, can honestly take your music to the next level. If you pull it off correctly, it can create immense depth in your productions. But you don't have to limit yourself to these natural elements. You can make your track sound so much warmer and fuller by just adding vinyl static or tape effects. Listen to this loop. Now listen to this one. It's pretty powerful, but you can't just throw down any old effects willy-nilly. You need to find the right fit and work it into the track properly. If you need to see an example of this, I've got you covered. Because that loop I showed you earlier is just a snippet of a track I crafted from scratch, and I documented the whole thing. So you can see in real time as I stumble across this idea and show you not only how I utilise it to instantly elevate my music, but also share with you my entire production process. Oh, by the way, I'm Jake and I make music. Groove first, ask questions later. This is the new approach for me. I'm going to try and get a skeleton of something built, and then I'm going to sound design around those ideas. I'm just going to throw some loops down and see what comes of it. I'll start there. I'll drag that in. It definitely needs EQing. It's a really muddy sound. That's the first thing I hear, is this really resonant frequency. Oh, yeah, that needs to be pulled down. Let's try this one. Alright, let's take this loop. And let's just throw some things at it. Throw a delay, throw a reverb, and let's see if we can get some inspiration from it. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just run with it. All right, let's try this one now. Yeah, it sounds a bit techno-y now. I like both of those loops, but they're not fitting together. So what I might do is take a chop of this one. I like both, but on top of each other, it's too overpowering. I'm gonna throw down this tape FX. I want to try this. Now we're giving it some character right out the box. Let's try and make some sense out of this. This is the clueless man's approach to music production. Throw this in there, why not? Let's keep it rolling. We cannot slow down now. This is an absolute mess. Let's try this. Let's try this. Okay, then let's add a delay onto that one. Give that a little bit more presence. Let's throw this in. This is an absolute mess, but this is what you have to do. Throw things down like you're going to make the best idea in the world, and then you just need to strip things back. I've still not got any clue what I'm trying to make right now. Right, let's just throw some hats down. Why not? Why not just throw some hats? I know I want a hi-hat in there, so why not just throw it in right now? I like those. Dun, dun. I'm going to have one going left and then one to the right. Like a clock. I want to modulate a delay on this one too. Yeah, only problem is, right, there's a decent amount of space being filled out, but there's no defining rhythm. So at this point, I need to stop being clueless and get a bit more clued up. I need to make a decision, basically. I've had a jam, I've experimented, but now I need to assert a bit more of a defining rhythm. All that time I spent adding all this stuff onto my page, I'm going to scribble out like half of it. You just need to throw things at it. Don't be afraid to delete it. That's how a clueless man does it. What about a rainforest? A rainforest sound. Yeah, okay, if I get the rainforest sound and I wash it out with the reverb. Let's try and get a tom into the loop. I've thrown this loop in here. Let's throw a sidechain on it. Let's EQ out the lows out of this pad. I'm going to take this pad, then I'm going to modulate this feedback here from the shimmer reverb. Yeah, some chords. Let's get some chords in over the top. Right, this is starting to come together. It sounds a bit dark. Alright, I've got this synth bass now. I just grabbed a preset. I want to really bite down on it with the compressor. Yeah, okay, I want to play this kind of pattern with the synth bass. Okay, I like that. Right, I've taken this string. I made the notes glide. And then I added a bit crusher, a big reverb, and also a tremolator. And a sidechain, of course. So now I can work it into the track like this. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, that's enough for today. That's a good start. I finally made some sense of it. Out of the fucking mess. Oh, it sounds like a break. Like a really dramatic break. But it also sounds like something out of a film. But I kind of showed up today because I wanted to make some house music. So, how about Why don't we just throw like a house rhythm down? Just like, you know, the basic sort of boots and cats rhythm. See if I can make something more housey. Because right now I'm getting like TV drama vibes. But I do like it. It is cool. Just to get those threads of my brain firing. Get the house pistons of my brain firing. I've just muted all of these sounds that were making it sound all kind of breaky and dramatic. I can bring that in later for an actual break. But right now, I need to get some direction for the driving forces of the track. Okay, let's find a kick. There's a lot of percussion here, and I think I need to try and balance it a little bit better. Because otherwise, as I add more elements, there's going to be no space in the mix. So I'm just going to do some EQing and some leveling. All right, let's get this shit made. I think I'll leave a clap out for now. I don't know if it's calling for a clap. There, let's just try and design something. I want to find something that's going to carry this track forward to the next phase. Oh, that's a really nice bass. Let's give this this bass some movement from left to right. And then I think what I'll do is I'm going to EQ out all of the sub, and then I'm going to add another sub inside of there. So that'll really make the low end interesting. But let's see if it clashes. It might really clash. But you gotta try it. You gotta try it to know. This bass patch is like, it's arced, but it's on a 16th note, but I'm just playing the one note. And the parameters I'm going to play with mostly is this envelope. As I open this envelope up, the cutoff will be opened up a little bit more each time the note plays. So these are the two parameters I'll play with mostly. Then I've got this sound. I'm running it through this chain. Some distortion, some delay, that kind of thing. This is without the processing. And then, I turned up the FM. What I think I'm going to do then is just play like a sort of polyrhythm, and then I'm going to play with a cutoff. It's a really interesting sound. It complements the tom rhythm as well. I like it. I want the cutoff to rise on this second note and then drop back down to where it was. I'll also modulate this delay envelope as well, because it helps it to sound like it's opening its mouth a little more. Alright, Diva is onto a winner. I think I'm going to stick with Diva. I'm feeling Diva today. Let's try a sub now. Let's try and add this sub bass in. A nice warm sub. Okay, never mind. I'll do the sub in a second. I've gotten distracted for a second now. I clicked on a preset that I was feeling right away. So I'm just going to record something. We're cooking with gas. Okay, let's record that. effect. The strings that I added in the last session, where it was like those glissanding? Is that a word? Glissando-ing strings. I'm going to do a second version of that melody because it's not working right now. And then it will go down to the B. Go down like that. All I'll do now, I'm going to add the sub. I'll add the sub bass and I'm going to do a really quick arrangement and then I'll call it a day. Let's find a sub. I need to take out some of the sub out of this tom because it's clashing with the sub way too much and I want to see if I can get it all to fit in together. Instead of EQing the tom, I'm actually going to leave a lot of the sub in there. And rather, I'm just going to change the pattern so it fits with the sub I just added. Alright, let's see how the tom and the sub are actually fitting together. Yeah. Alright, let's try and arrange this track. And I'll just try and arrange as quickly as possible. I just want to get a rough arrangement. Okay, I want to bring in this UV ray perk loop. I want to fade this in. I also want to fade in this percussion. This one. The reverse vocal as well can also be filtered in too. Automate the delay as well. Let's get a low cut on the master as well. I've sped it up by 1 BPM. What I did with the hats now is half the layers come in now at 32 bars, and then these other layers come in at 64 bars. It just gives that hi-hat more of an opportunity to develop itself as the track goes on. I'm going to fade in these bongos as well. And I'll filter that in from 32 bars. Now I want to filter in this FM stab. That's next on the agenda.
I'll do a smaller high pass filter just before the 32 bars here as well, just to give it a little bit more variation. I want to make those hats come in a little bit harder. Okay, and let's take away all the other shakers as well. I think what I'll do is for the first section, I'm going to take away one of the more in-your-face shakers, and they can come in at 32 bars as well, so that there's a little bit more of a dramatic shift in the energy. These ones can be faded in as it gets to 64 bars. Let's find some space for the keys to be filtered in. Actually, I think I want the keys to just come in full force. And then I'll have the strings. That can fade in after 64 bars, and that could lead into what would be a break. But I'm not building the break today. This bottle, that one can fade out, or I'll filter it out slightly at 64 bars so that it gives a bit more space to the other elements. All right, that's a rough arrangement. All right, it took me about 25 minutes. Yeah, I think that's enough. That's enough for today. This is a solid idea. So what did I do? I went in clueless and I just threw things at the wall, and it was sounding really busy and really chaotic at one point. But eventually, you know, it gets to the point where you can make sense of it. All the elements are there. It just needs all the polish. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, let's give it a spin. Let's go.
Well, I was pretty happy with the way that turned out. If you enjoyed this video, click this one next, where I break down how I stopped the habit of sabotaging my production and get on the path to making my best music yet, and how you might be in the same boat without even realising it. Go ahead, go watch it. Well, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.